PR1 is the input.
Mine works.
Mine is
What did I have to specify? Okay. Disconnected
Can we
again.
start from scratch? The feed reactor shouldn't be specified. The worksheet?
I will go back to design, remove it again. I must have specified something in addition to temperature and pressure. Easiest thing to do. Let's do the phone. First press green light. Hopefully everything is back. Okay, I think everything is back. I must have specified something else here. No composition specified. Let's see. Composition is not specified. Conditions, only temperature and pressure specified. Doesn't make sense, so let's go to the second reactor, reactor 2, go to design, and remove the feeds. Let's do steps at a time. So when you run into trouble, go back to the beginning, remove what follows, fix that. So I'm removing that stream. So this is disconnected now, so it will not be affected by anything down there. Oh, duty may have been specified. No, it's not. I will save here.
It said unknown pressure.
And let's see if it's still specified. Okay, nothing is specified. Yeah, it is still specified. Okay. So now let's go to design and reconnect it.
Unit mole fraction of ethylene.
Oh, you have composition in. Composition is specified in feed yard.
Feed yard has composition.
Yeah, you have to, the bottom one, the vinyl floor.
Okay, we need to delete the composition. What the string is before it had is empty. Delete the composition. So delete everything here.
No, but you have vinyl
Click
floor.
OK.
Wait, mine doesn't even let me do that.
You're good.
Yes.
I think I have an idea. I think it was in the heater and the pressure, because I changed the composition in there and it resolved it and everything worked.
Yes, we didn't state that.
Say again.
Now you might
I would just redo the heater. Just delete the heater.
Now it should work.
Let's add again the heater. Let's not connect it to anything. So, put the new heater. I'll name it again. Magical. All right. Inlet. PR1. Outlet. Feed. Tube. And I'll put here reactor. Slightly different name so I don't, because I haven't erased it. Do not add. And you have an energy stream. What is energy? Heater, duty. All right. Unknown pressure. You can either specify pressure and temperature here, and you can specify pressure by putting a delta P. And I bet there may have been a delta P here that I didn't check. I bet that may have been a problem. Or it will specify. Anyway. So go to worksheet. Instead of specifying that, as I did before, go and specify on feed to reactor 2 the temperature 500 C, and let it convert to Fahrenheit, and the pressure 26 atmospheres, and let it convert. Let's go back up and down. There we go. And I have the red light as green light, and we're done. So what I think was happening, it wasn't showing it on the table. Probably a duty was specified or a pressure drop was specified. And you can have both pressure drop and pressure specified or duty and temperature specified. Okay. So now we can connect that.
What's the feed the reactor to?
Yeah, can you look at reactor V?
Should be, you have to the table. Let's put a table for that. Well, actually, the feed is 254 is the same as before, same molar flow. If I put the table on this, it will be same molar flow, everything the same, except the temperature and pressure have changed. So you can see now that the temperature and the pressure are specified. Instead of molar flow, let me put some component mass flow. So left click, new properties. Let's delete the molar flow. And let's add component molar flow. And let's add
Component mass flow.
mass flow, thank you. Mass flow on it. And let's add dichloroethane. Let's also add, okay, you can see it's exactly the same. And let's see the other variables that we have. Again, component mass flow. And we'll have some unreacted ethylene and some unreacted chlorine. So that's what this string has. Okay, so the string coming out of the magical heater has the temperature specified, the pressure specified, and we have the desired amount of dichloroethane plus small amounts of chlorine and ethylene, the 2% that did not react. And we'll make that the feed to the reactor 2. So bring reactor 2 closer, and let's say it first. Is everybody with me caught up?
Yeah.
We're going
Delete
fast.
the stream feed to R2 now.
Say again?
The stream feed to R2. Can we just delete that now?
Yeah, you can delete that. We're not going to use that. So I'll go back to the reactor and I'll put the feed to reactor 2. And I'll remove the gnome. And we're here, and we can see at the product how much vinyl chloride we're making.
Did you unignore the V2?
Your table's in the top right.
I already have a table. I already have a table. Here is what we have. Vinyl chloride, 101.12, the HCl, and a little bit of ethylene.
Can you click on reactor 2?
That stays exactly the same as we had before, not changed it.
Oh, wait, can you go to worksheets? It says unknown duty for me.
So, we are going to recycle the unreacted chlorine and ethylene. Okay? At this point, we are going to put, sorry, I misspoke. Not those, we are going to recycle the unreacted dichloroethane. Dichloroethane is the heaviest of all the components. In terms of volatility, I'm not sure which is more volatile. Probably chlorine is the most volatile. Then I would guess HCl, then ethylene, then vinyl chloride, and dichloroethane is the least volatile of them all. So if we had a distillation column here, we would get the dichloroethane at the bottoms if we design it properly. In other words, we can have heavy key dichloroethane, light key is going to be probably vinyl chloride. Do you know what I'm talking about when I mention keys? Anybody doesn't understand when I say light key and heavy key? You covered that in your sex class, right?
Oh no, I didn't. I do not. Nope.
Okay. Little bit of review. In ordinary distillation columns, where you have a feed and you have a distillate and a bottom. Okay? Let's say my feed has several components. Let's say A, B, C, D, E, arranged in order of volatility. You can decide, you can operate a column to decide between which two you're going to make the separation. So I can make a column where I have A and B living distillate and C, D, E living as bottom. Or I can make A, B, C, D as my distillate and only E the bottoms. So having them arranged in order of volatility, I make the division somewhere between two of them. Where I make the division, the two substances are called keys.
Oh, I hate you.
The more volatile of the two, the one that will be going mostly in distillate, is called the light key. The least volatile, the heavy key. Okay? So in this case, I'll have a drink distillation column, and I'll get perfect separation, and I will have, here is my dichloroethane, and everything else will go at the top. Remember, our conversion was 98%. If our specification for vinyl chloride, for example, only needs to be 95% pure, we may not need to remove anything else. Okay? Depends on what the specification is. The specification doesn't have ultra pure vinyl chloride, then maybe we want to go back and put a distillation column after reactor 1 to make sure we get pure dichloroethane so we don't have to carry over chlorine and ethane.
Can you click on a worksheet for reactor 2?
Although you need to separate HCl anyway, so you would put a distillation column for taking care of that anyway. And the others,
Can I see your worksheet?
no, probably you can just separate them afterwards.
Thank you.
So, what we're going to do now is to put a column to separate, and I want to it's not yet time to learn about real modeling of distillation columns. So we're going to use the same type of column we used in the past. Our drink column, which is right here, under the title Component Splitter. So first of all, is everybody okay so far? Everybody who followed me? Are you okay, all of you? Okay, what do you need to see? Well, when we take a break, which will be soon, right after I put the drink column, I can try to help you. Remember, though, this is not homework, but still, this is what you're going to be doing in your project. This is deliverable 4.
Can you upload this?
What?
This?
No. The whole idea is that you come to class, so no. At least not now. If I run out of time, the answer is no. Okay, so let's go and put the drink column, component splitter, and as I discussed, the inlet is going to be, of course, what comes in, the B stream, and the overhead outlet, this will be the distillate, and the bottom solid is going to be the bottoms, and I don't think distillation columns are adiabatic. So we can say here, column B. So we put it before, this is homework 1, the component splitter. And then on the parameters, we specify where each component ends and what fraction of it. More realistic would be to assume that some of the heavy key would go with distillate, and some of the light heat would go with bottoms. But here we'll assume we have a distillation column for our green. So, sorry, split. Split. So ethylene, all will go to distillate. Chlorine, all to distillate. Vinyl chloride, all to distillate. HCl, all to distillate. And dichloroethane, how much to distillate?
0.
0.
Wait. No, I did it wrong.
Second rule. The inner stream is the feed to reactor 2.
Okay.
Sorry, it's the vistin. It's the product from reactor 2, the vistin. So that's the feed stream. We put a green distillation column. So the distillate will probably go to another distillation column to separate it. Mostly we have a lot of HCl there. To separate from HCl and chlorine and ethylene. And in that case, vinyl chloride would be at the bottoms, and the others would be distillate. But for this part here, we need to be concerned with bottoms, and we want to start recycling the bottoms back. Now, what happens is I recycle the bottoms back. The feed that I provided to make my target, vinyl chloride, which is about 100,000 pounds per hour, the feed that I had was assuming no recycle at all, right? I first converted my system considering no recycle at all. So what I need to do now is when I recycle back this, and we need to put the temperature and pressure to make conversion. But when I recycle this, I need to reduce the amount that I'm feeding. In your project, this is going to be a tricky thing because you need to maintain at all times the molar ratio of the reactants that you have in your patent. In this case, I was feeding stoichiometrically, so there isn't going to be any issue because I'm not having, in this case, I have only one. Well, okay, no, what I'm trying to say, you need to make sure that you have the stoichiometric ratio to your reactor that is specified. So, in this case, I guess I'm making the assumption that the present ethylene and chlorine do not affect at all the dichloroethane cracking, which is probably right. But if I had in this reactor a recycle, you need to make sure that after the recycle, the overall feed to the reactor keeps the same molar ratio of the reactants. Because it could be that when you purify, you recover more of one component than of the other. So you need to be careful about that. Okay, let's finish this and take a break, and then we'll do the recycle. So, to finish this column, and before I need to specify temperature and pressure. So go to worksheet, and living from this reactor, we'll assume that you have the temperature and pressure of the reactor. So I'll put 932 and 382.095 psi. Actually, to be precise, let me use 26 atmospheres. I want to make sure that I have the same pressure. So you go up, in this case, start with T4. And that is not enough. 932 for this one, and 26 atmospheres, and then I should see our favorite color, green. I like green. Okay, time to take the break, and let me help Anna with the investigation.